Hello everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel. Today I want to talk about Eternals, which I just saw in the IMAX. It just came out today in the UK, and all week I've been hearing stuff about how it's not good and it's got low Rotten Tomatoes and just stuff about it, and it's been a bit annoying to be honest, because I'm a big Jack Kirby fan and these are Jack Kirby's characters, and I'm like, it hurts my heart a little bit to hear people saying bad things about Jack Kirby characters. But you know, the plus side is that I kind of went in with low expectations because I just kept hearing stuff about it, and it made me want to like it, probably in spite more, to spite the people who say bad things about it. But I liked it. I'm going to talk about it a little bit. I'm not going to give any spoilers or anything, so you're absolutely fine. I saw it in IMAX, as I said, which was a pretty good choice because you want to watch big movies like this in IMAX on the biggest screen you can. But yeah, sometimes when you hear a film's really great, you go in, you go, "Oh, I wasn't so great." So this way around, it's much better. I don't know Eternals or The Eternals too well. I don't know why they've called it Eternals. It feels really awkward to me. I prefer The Eternals. It kind of makes sense in the context of the film, but The Eternals sounds better. But whatever. Who cares? It's cleaner, I guess. Like the Facebook. That's a reference. Yeah. I've read some Eternals. I'm familiar with the characters and the larger kind of the space part of Marvel that they're into, but they've not had that much press over the years. So they're an old Jack Kirby thing from sort of the 1960s, and they were very much his thing. Another thing's pretty cool to see, based on the Marvel comics created by Jack Kirby in the credits. That was great because you don't see his name on a lot of these things, and especially on his own, it's quite nice to see. I like that as a big Kirby fan. But yeah, they've had a few of their own sort of series and stuff like over the years. But they're not. I mean, I like the Neil Gaiman one they did a fair while ago now. But like I said, love Jack Kirby, and I'm a big fan of the filmmaker Chloe Zhao as well, who directed this film, which again was a weird choice because I know Marvel do like to grab these up and coming indie directors, and since they signed her up and since she made this film, she has won Best Director at the Oscars for Nomadland, and I like Nomadland, and I liked her previous film, The Rider. I like that a lot. And there is nothing in those films, Nomadland or The Rider, that will make me go, "Yep, she's the best choice for a Marvel movie." But whatever. Filmmakers are very varied, so I was cool with that. I must admit, leading up to this film, the thing that intrigued me the most was the cast, because aside from Salma Hayek and Angelina Jolie, there's not many big names in it as such, but these are all actors that I know from various things, and I really like them. They're like all actors who, again, they're not mega famous, but they're well known, and they're just people. I thought, wow, they've put all these people into one film. It's almost like it's just for me. So like Brian Tyree Henry, Barry Keoghan, I believe it's pronounced, Kamal Nanjiani, and Don Lee, otherwise known as Ma Dong-seok, who I've seen in a lot of Korean films. Who's awesome. He's a big charismatic powerhouse. They call him the Korean Dwayne Johnson. I think they call him that. I didn't make that up. And it's great to see him in something like this. Like his Americanized name is Don Lee that he goes by. There was a couple of the Game of Thrones lads in it as well, and I never watched Game of Thrones, but Kit Harington's in it, and Richard Madden is like the kind of he's the kind of more stoic kind of traditional style superhero in the film, and he did that really well. And I've never really seen him in anything. So I said I never watched Game of Thrones, and I don't really know him other than his very brief appearance in 1917. But I really liked him a lot. And Gemma Chan is kind of the main character. She's previously appeared in Captain Marvel, but as a different character, as one of the Kree. So she's not, it's not confusing because she's not blue in this one. So that's a big step. But yeah, so I was looking forward to it because of the cast mainly, and I really liked them. I thought they played off quite well together. I thought that their characters aren't well known in many sense, but they introduced them all fairly well, I thought, and I kind of learned all their names and stuff. Obviously, I knew them a little bit before, but it wasn't fresh in my head exactly. So, and they kind of tell the story in kind of a bit like flashbacks, which I don't normally like. I like a linear story. I don't like it when it keeps cutting back and forth between timelines, but it made sense in this because something happens in the current story and then they go back and kind of explain the relevance of it, and it kind of builds to the point where about halfway through they kind of just carry on with the story, and I thought it worked quite well. Normally that does annoy me a little bit, but in this case I didn't mind it really. like I say, I liked it, but I wouldn't say it was great. Like it did just feel slightly off. Like I find there's kind of a baseline for Marvel movies, and I'm a big fan of them. I've seen them all, more or less opening day, and I feel like they've kind of nailed like the origin superhero origin movie, and I kind of put like Doctor Strange, Black Panther, Captain Marvel. I kind of hold them all on the same level, where I kind of go, yeah, they're good, but they're not ones that I love. Um, they're better the more time they have to build up, like they build up to the big movies and stuff like that. So in this case, I'd probably put these a little bit below them. Like I say, I enjoyed it. I didn't mind the runtime. So it's 2 hours 36 minutes, I think. Which at first I was like, oh, that's a long one, because the past few times I've been to the cinema, have all been for like 2.5 hour films, and I'm starting to get a bit weary of it. But it didn't really feel like it to me. Um, and I just feel like there was something just missing. It just didn't quite fully click, and I feel like part way through sort of the second act, so it was kind of where you kind of know what the story is more, where you kind of get a few sort of reveals and stuff, and it's just like it just didn't quite click into place. And the same was with like the humor. Like I said, I like the cast and I like the way they interacted with each other, but the none of the jokes really worked. Like Mano Gianni's really funny, and he was kind of the comic relief character, but at the same time, it just didn't quite click. And he has kind of a funny sidekick type character, and it was, it was okay. They made an effort, but it just didn't quite fit. Like it was just something with it. I feel like they were trying something slightly different to the normal sort of formula, only slightly, and it just didn't quite work. But not to the point where I kind of went, "Oh, this is a bad movie." I kind of read it about halfway through and kind of went, "Yeah, I get what this is kind of trying to be," but it didn't quite click into place. That being said, I enjoyed the action scenes. I thought they were really well done. It's mostly just them fighting CGI monsters, but what you expect. But yeah, I thought they were well done. They were quite exciting. It does suffer, as I said in my Shang-Chi review, from a thing which, again, I don't know if I would have noticed this if it wasn't pointed out, but it's a common complaint, and I do get it, where some of the action scenes are just a bit murky and a bit dark. Like there's one scene that takes place in a village at like dusk, and it's just kind of like, yeah, I can kind of see what's going on. Actually, it's not that bad. You can see what's going on, but I just kind of wish it was a bit more vibrant. Especially this is a Jack Kirby thing, who's known for his vibrant, amazing art, and it's kind of a bit disappointing, really, in that sense. But there's another one that takes place on like a grey beach, and it's just kind of like, even like maybe do a normal beach. I don't know. Maybe there's a filmmaking reason for it that I'm not aware of, and what do I know really? But yeah, sometimes I just wish there'd be just a bit more colour to them. Again, especially in a Jack Kirby property. Like Google some of Jack Kirby's art, and it's just psychedelic. I know it's the '60s for the most part, but still, come on. Um, but overall, I quite liked it. I'm a pretty easy sell when it comes to Marvel properties. And yeah, after hearing a week about how it's terrible and people had issues with certain things, there was nothing in there that made me go, "Oh, this is rubbish." I quite liked it. I like the cast. I like the action scenes. Story didn't quite work for me, but not to the point where it ruined my enjoyment in any way. But yeah, I liked it. So if you're a Marvel fan, you'll probably like it. If you're not, if you're one of them who likes to kick off about things that you don't agree with or whatever, then shut up. Just don't be an idiot. Get out of my face. But yeah, thanks.